I grudge them on, you know. I true him a fight for black liberation. And him a one true warrior. Them a want to try stop him. But them can't stop the man. Them can't stop Raheem Shabazz. That's why anytime me want to listen to revolutionary liberation vibes, me tune into Necessary Blackness Podcast. Me not into them little yaga podcast them. I be your Necessary Blackness me rock with. Anytime me want your true warrior talking.
Elementary Genocide provides a critical expose of mass incarceration, the war on drugs, and the connection between slavery, capitalism, and the prison industrial complex. Visit our website at www.elementarygenocide.com. Now available, Elementary Genocide, the School to Prison Pipeline. Elementary Genocide 2, the Board of Education versus the Board of Incarceration. And the newest release, Elementary Genocide 3, Academic Holocaust. Log on today to purchase your very own 3-set docuseries.
Wingy Apparel is the latest fly and revolutionary streetwear to hit the market. Wingy is the outfitters of freedom fighters everywhere. Wingy is a Swahili word that means abundance. No one has ever gone broke by giving. So if you have it in abundance, sharing is better than receiving. Follow us on Instagram at Wingy Apparel. That's at WINGIAPPAREL.
Necessary Blackness Podcast is independently owned, and we do not accept sponsorship dollars from corporations. We are supported by the people such as yourself who know that in war, the first casualty is the truth. We are at war with racism and white supremacy. We must continue to tell the truth. Support us by purchasing your Necessary Blackness t-shirt by sending an email to necessaryblacknesspodcast@gmail.com.
Necessary Blackness Podcast, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. with award-winning journalist and filmmaker Raheem Shabazz. This podcast is only for those who are unapologetic, because the mind of the conscious man or woman recognizes no monopoly on truth. Truth is relative and always to be sought.
All right, peace and Black Power family. This is your host, Raheem Shabazz, and we are here for another episode of Necessary Blackness Podcast. And today we have a special guest in the building. Our special guest is no other than Andre Hatchett. How are you doing, my brother?
Doing great, God. How you feeling?
I'm doing good. For those that don't know, Andre Hatchett is a business instructor. He's a game changer. He's an entrepreneur. Andre is nationally acclaimed entrepreneur and philanthropist, right? Andre is the owner of the Black Real Estate School, Mobile Notary School, the Notary Business School, and you also the co-founder of Buy Black of New York City.
Facts, yeah.
Among many other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can also check him out on the Hatchet Way Podcast.
Yeah.
Definitely tune into that. He definitely goes into details of how you can make up to $10K a month doing mobile notary.
Yeah.
So that's just a little tip of the iceberg of what our brother Andre do. So today we're going to get right into it. Today's topic is called Building Wealth, Entrepreneurship, and Personal Finance. And we have an expert in that who is here to talk to us about that. So I want to start off and I want to ask you the fundamental question of what influenced you to become an entrepreneur?
I didn't like limitations growing up. So jobs always capped you. Your parents, even though they tried, but we're working class people, so there was they were always, even though they did a great job. Let me shout out to my parents, but I just didn't like limitations. So ever since I was young, I was shoveling snow, selling candy at school, selling lemonade. Had friends selling candy for me at school because I didn't like limitations.
Okay.
So it always stuck with me as an adult. You got to ask. Sometimes you actually go to the bathroom. Ask when to eat lunch. Ask for a day off to go to the hospital. So as soon as I was able to leave the full-time workforce, I left, and thank God I haven't had to go back. But yeah, man, limitations for me ain't it.
Speaking of limitations, right? It's 2021. We're still in the midst of a global pandemic. Since the onslaught of the pandemic, how has this shifted things for you financially, if it has? Because I know during depression,
Yeah, that's real.
more millionaires are made than any other time in history.
Yeah, that's true. So I made more money. I didn't become a millionaire, but my income did go up a little bit during this whole pandemic. So people call it pandemic. So I went up because I'm in such what you might call need-based businesses. And people need either my information or my services that I offer. I'm not in things that are luxury or sexy. I'm in things that are needed. So I think people are looking for tangible ways to make money. They came to me.
Speaking of tangible ways to make money, I want you to let everybody know about this mobile notary. Because the first time I ever heard it, I heard it from you.
From me, yeah.
As far as getting something notarized, it was always you got to go to the bank, or you got to go to the library, or you got to search and find someone.
Facts, yeah.
But, we living in a different day and time. It's no longer brick and mortar. It's click and order. You know what I mean?
That's a great way to put it.
I thought that was a fascinating idea.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay. And then I see the type of money that can be made. I was like, that's it right there.
Yeah. So I started the business when I was 39 now, like 23, 24. I'm a practical dude, right, Ryan? Yeah. So if something makes sense, I'm probably going to do it.
Okay.
I don't need to do what's flashy or that stuff. I'm going to do what makes sense. So some friends told me about a mutual friend of ours named Ricky Simon, who I knew at the time, but we weren't tight like that. And they said he shows up, so he makes like $35. This was 14, 15 years ago. $75, $125, $200 for an hourless appointment. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was making $100 a day at the job, working all day.
Yeah, 8 hours.
Yeah, annoyed as fuck. And I shadowed Ricky, shout out to Ricky, and I saw what he did. And he said, yeah, get your Notary Public license and I'll show you the business. So $100 a day compared to making $75 for a 15-minute appointment, I went with that. So I failed the test the first time, passed the second time, and I've been in business ever since then. Ever since. That's the important part because people look for the quick things. I look for the longevity things.
Okay. And when you obtain a notary license, you have to obtain it in your respective state that you operate in, correct?
Yeah, state that you either have a business address in or that you live in, correct.
Okay. All right. So what are some of the pros of owning a business such as like notary?
Cool. So one of the pros is you don't have to do the jobs yourself. So right now where I'm at with it, I middleman most of the jobs. So if I got a call for a job for $150, I could pay somebody else $75 or $100 and profit the difference. So I don't even have to do all the jobs myself. So being able, it's called building a signing service. So with the signing service, once you have your system set up, you could become the middle dude and be on the beach or recording podcasts to have money coming in.
Like we're doing right
now. So that's one of the pros of it.
Okay.
It costs under $500 to get started most times. So website, logo, answering service, all that good stuff you can get going for typically under $500. And if you follow our instructions, you can start getting paid within 3 to 5 weeks or so.
And we're going to get into that, how y'all are able to obtain the course and how you're able to get the instructions, to get the information for someone that's doing it, someone that has been doing it over a decade. I want to pivot to, you gave me 3 books. That's correct, right?
I gave you 3 books when I saw you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did. I forgot about that.
But you have more than 3 books out, right?
I have 3 hard copy books out. I have a couple ebooks as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Family, ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all get these books, right? one of the books, the title, and I seen shirts, and I seen everybody rocking these shirts. It's called "Owned or Be Owned."
Yeah.
What does that look like in 2021 for Black folks?
I'm gonna go with me personally.
Okay.
At first, if you can, as a Black man, own where you live, own where you work, and if you're in a serious relationship, have the option for your woman, your wife, to not have to work. I think that's one of the best revolutionary acts you could do.
All right. Well, I got 2 out of those 3. Right?
That's a win.
I don't own where I live, but I'm working on it.
You're working on that.
You know what I mean? I already fired my boss. Now I need to fire my landlord.
Congrats.
You know what I mean? So I'm working on that. But go ahead, finish.
Yeah. So I think if you have that as a base and a foundation, it can keep you out of the bullshit. I'm not anti-job for other people, but I'm anti-job for myself. I'm anti-me having to go work for white people. Now, I don't have enough money to say that I'll never have to do it again. I'm not there quite yet. I hope I don't, but I'm not there quite yet. But I will eat tuna for a year and peanut butter and jelly to fight as long as I can. But, it is what it is. A lot of our issues, even though there are other systemic issues like police brutality, mass incarceration, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, we have most of our issues are coming from where we live and where we work.
Absolutely, because we don't control the resources in our community. Once we control the resources in our community, we decide who the police chief is going to be. We decide who's going to sit on the school board.
Yeah.
In return, we decide where our money that we're paying for the property taxes, how much is going to the schools. So we don't have bad schools in our area. And, when you have financial and political power, you're able to call the shots. So when we talk about police brutality, we can have a residency clause that you have to live in a 10-mile radius of any neighborhood that you patrol. So guess what? I'm going to see you in Kroger. I'm going to see you around town.
Yeah.
So you're going to be real nice to me.
Yep. Different level of respect.
Yeah, it's going to be a total different level of respect. So that phrase, going back to that phrase, own or be owned, is very, pertinent for us as a people. Because the only way to really get financially free is ownership. Yep. And it's not necessarily everybody, because you become a millionaire working for someone else. So don't get that wrong, right? Definitely. And you have to leverage what your 9-to-5 is in order to transition to being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And some people, they may be working a job, and that same job they become the owner of.
Bingo. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, I was just listening to a podcast of a sister that was working in real estate. And she was doing, I think, property management, and she was working in one of the high rises down in Midtown. And her supervisor, was real nasty.
I heard that with Donnie.
Disrespect to her. You seen that podcast?
I saw Donnie. I forget Donnie's last name, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And she and where she was working, it's like $4,000 up to $10,000 a month to live in that building.
Yeah.
And she wind up getting an apartment in there for her and one for her mother.
Yeah.
And now the same people that was being disrespectful and mean to her,
they got orders from her.
Yeah, they got to go. Listen, I want you to park my car. I need this to go to the cleaners. You know what I mean? So you never know where you're gonna be at in life. And when I watched that story, I was like, wow, she was able to leverage the knowledge that she had from working in property management to acquiring 2 apartments in that building while running her own business.
She bossed up.
How phenomenal.
She bossed up.
And Black excellent is that.
Yeah, she bossed up. That was a great story.
Speaking of boss up, there's a saying that employees can keep life and work separate, but entrepreneurs can't, right?
That's a good one.
As an entrepreneur, How do you find the balance between your personal life and work?
Balance is the overrated word. What you want to get is harmony.
Harmony and balance is almost the same thing, right? If you're in harmony, you're in balance.
Harmony and synergy. I think synergy is probably even a better word.
All right, synergy. I'll go with that.
It's tough. It's tough, but that's the thing. Like, I don't just I'm an entrepreneur at my core.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I don't play around with this stuff, and I don't always love it, but I always hate. Every once in a while, I have a nightmare of me having a job, and it will wake me up in a sweat. I'm not lying. So I'm an entrepreneur to the core. So for me, it's weekends, it's weekdays, if it's on a trip, it's at least a couple of hours doing the work. I've accepted it. Other people who are hanging around me, like, they just got to embrace it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
on the come up, there were a lot of things I missed out on. It might have been a baby shower, a weekend trip with my friends, but that $50 to $300 that I would have been spending that day at that time had to go into the business, or I just didn't have it.
Yeah.
So there's sacrifice that come along with it. I knew that, and I embraced it, and I said, I'm going to figure this thing out. So it's real. It's real, but for me, it's worth it.
And then when you get to a point, you really don't have to sacrifice no more. That's a beautiful thing.
It is.
But the main thing that I'm hearing everybody talk about is the freedom to do what you want on your time.
It's different, yeah.
Most people are relegated to working a 9 to 5, and you can't travel. Because every Monday through Friday, you have to be at a certain place at a certain time.
Yep.
But when you're an entrepreneur, you can do your work on the road. You can flex,
yeah.
You pay other people to run your business.
You got systems in place.
And everything is normal. I've been an entrepreneur for 15 years.
Congrats, brother.
And I can't see me working for someone.
It would be tough, right?
I can't see someone saying, okay, Raheem, we're going to take a 15-minute break, but make sure you be back on time because we got a big load that just came in.
Yeah.
What? 15 minutes for what? Like, I got to make a phone call that's probably going to take a half an hour, 15 minutes.
That's the thing about entrepreneurship. It's the time freedom, man. The time freedom gets addictive. The time freedom.
And this is another thing, too. With that extra of time, you have to make that time valuable.
Yeah, you do.
You know what I mean? You have to know with that time is money, and I could use this time to upscale my business.
Mm-hmm.
But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come right back, and we're going to chop it up with Andre Hatchett. He's going to tell y'all how y'all can enroll and be a part of the mobile notary. He's going to tell us a little bit about the real estate market and why now more than ever is the best time for us to get into that market. And we're going to talk about some other things and we're going to chop it up. So make sure you stay right here. Necessary Blackness Podcast. I'm Raheem Shabazz. It's my man Andre, and we chilling right now.
Yeah.
Wingy Apparel is the latest fly and revolutionary streetwear to hit the market. Wingy is the outfitters of freedom fighters everywhere. Wingy is a Swahili word that means abundance. No one has ever gone broke by giving. So if you have it in abundance, sharing is better than receiving. Follow us on Instagram at Wingy Apparel. That's at WINGIAPPAREL.
Necessary Blackness Podcast is independently owned, and we do not accept sponsorship dollars from corporations. We are supported by the people such as yourself who know that in war, the first casualty is the truth. We are at war with racism and white supremacy. We must continue to tell the truth. Support us by purchasing your Necessary Blackness t-shirt by sending an email to necessaryblacknesspodcast@gmail.com.
Necessary Blackness Podcast, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. with award-winning journalist and filmmaker Raheem Shabazz. This podcast is only for those who are unapologetic, because the mind of the conscious man or woman recognizes no monopoly on truth. Truth is relative and always to be sought.
Peace and Black Power family. We are back from our quick commercial break. And for those that are interested in receiving the Necessary Blackness Podcast t-shirt, make sure y'all hit us up. Make sure if you're interested in getting elementary genocide, 1, 2, or 3, you can go directly to the website. You also can go on Amazon. You can stream it on Quali TV. And you also can stream it on Amazon as well as purchase the DVD. So for those that are just joining us, we are talking to the real estate guru, Andre Hatchett. He also is known for the business of mobile notary, and we discussed that in our earlier segment. So make sure y'all go listen to that. But I want to talk to you about the real estate market, right?
Yeah.
They said 90% of millionaires have earned their money from the real estate market.
Yep.
So it's almost a no-brainer that you have to be involved in real estate if you want to become a millionaire.
I think it's the simplest way to get there.
Yeah, it's the simplest way because they say that the average millionaire, or most millionaires, not average, but most millionaires have 7 streams of income.
Yeah.
But with real estate, you probably can cut that in half because it's so lucrative.
You probably could, and you can get one building that has 7 units, and that's technically 7 streams of income right there.
Wow. Talking about jewels.
That's what I mean about simple. Like I'm a simple guy. So talk about simple stuff. That's it right there. You got, let's say you got a building and you have 7 units in there. You have 3 units Section 8, 4 units Airbnb. You have 2 buildings or 4 houses, and you rent out each room. That's technically 7, 8, maybe 10 streams of incomes right there from each room in the crib.
Yeah.
So many ways to do it in real estate.
I didn't look at it like that. I would look at it like, okay, I'm in the real estate. That's one stream. I'm doing Airbnb. That's another. And then Turo. That's another. You know what I mean?
And that's good too. Like that's not bad. But I think a lot of people get overwhelmed trying to get to 7 streams too damn fast. They fuck it up. And they wind up having like puddles and not real streams of income. Rather
they fumble the bag.
They fumble the bag because they don't go all in on something to start with. So I had that problem where I was doing too much at one time at a certain point where I slowed down. I had to slow it down to speed up. And when I slowed down, I was able to become better at what I was doing currently. Then I launched my other streams of income after that.
Now with real estate, most people automatically assume that real estate is buying and flipping property. You have commercial real estate, and you have people that also do land purchase. You know, it's just not always a physical unit or a structure. Land. Yeah. And land is the basis of freedom, family. So don't get into real estate and just think that you want to acquire houses and flip them. There's a lot of money in that land acquisition.
A lot of money in land acquisition.
Because you can do anything that you want with it, right? So tell me, I want you to give us one real estate tip that every novice that is just learning and haven't acquired their first property should know.
Focus on the minimums you need to get started, not the maximums.
And when you say that, what you mean by that?
The minimum down payment, the minimum FICO score, the minimum income you need to qualify for a property. People think too far ahead and they say, well, I want to get this house. I want to get that house. I'm going to give a 1B to that as also. Go for strong like, not love with your first property. You probably aren't going to love your first property, but your first property can get you in 10 years and get you loaded and get you rich.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Strong like, not love, and focus on the minimums.
So the minimum credit score, is it 620?
It's generally between that 580 to 620. It depends on the lender, but 580 to 620 is a very fair place to start.
Wow. And since I been checking my credit score and I knew about credit score, I started with a 580.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now I'm like almost 800.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's perfect. You know, that's perfect credit, right?
Yeah.
You could finance anything you want right now.
Yeah, I'm almost at 800.
Congrats,
I'm
brother.
like 790. It fluctuates between. One of them say 790. One of them say 785.
Man, he's showing off right now. That's what he's doing. He's bragging.
So that I remember that. You know, they said 620. in order to qualify for certain like federal loans and different things like that. So it's relatively easy.
And here's why that's important. I'm actually glad you said that, right? Because some people, they'll say, well, I want the best rate possible, so I'm going to wait up until I have a 750, 800 FICO score.
You don't have to do that.
Start with what you got. Get in the property. Figure out everything else. I'd rather pay a higher interest rate in a home I own, Raheem, than to be paying rent.
Yeah.
I'd rather pay a slightly higher rate for my mortgage than to be paying rent.
And truth be told, right, the way the rent prices are nowadays, your mortgage is always going to be lower than that.
Yeah,
it's always going to be lower than that. You know,
my mortgage payments with taxes, I think, are under $1,700, and it's a 3-bedroom. It ain't a big house, but it's good enough. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathroom, backyard, $1,700 with everything.
Imagine 3 bedroom apartment in Midtown. You know how much that would cost?
25 at least.
Yeah. So you already ahead of the game and you're winning. You talking about the house that I've been to?
The house you was at, yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice house. I
Appreciate
like that.
It. Thank you.
I definitely like that. So let's get back to the mobile notary, right?
Yeah.
The school. And see, we so fixated on education, where we talking about traditional school, right? Mm-hmm. There's all type of school. There's the mobile notary school.
Yeah.
You know, and we have to remain diligent in being educated outside of traditional learning centers.
Yeah.
You know, and with the pandemic, we are seeing that we don't have to be confined to 4 walls.
No.
We actually can sit in front of a computer and watch a Zoom and get educated.
Times changed, man.
Time has changed. And sometimes it changed for the better.
Yeah.
Because in the comfort of your own home, you can get the skill sets to become the next millionaire.
Whew.
So how can they sign up? And I know that you're going to give a link.
Yes.
So I want you to talk about that.
Yeah, man. So we're going to give you 2 links. The links will be below, and you got to use the codes below because those will save you the money. I'm going to give you the fundamentals course. That will get you self-employed. That's people who want to do the jobs themselves, who want to be out there making the money themselves. Also, the middleman course, which will show you how you can market and advertise and brand yourself as a signing service so you could hire subcontractors to work for you. Both of them will save you 80%. You get both of those, you go in on both of those, you have a whole different life in a year.
So we're going to supply you with an exclusive link right here on Necessary Blackness Podcast. You can't get this link nowhere else. And it's going to save you 80%. And it's only going to be for a short time. So don't say, you know what, I'm going to wait till January and I'm going to start then. No, you better get it now.
Hop in now while the getting's good.
Yeah. So I want to read a statistic, right? And I just want to show y'all where we at in the state of Black America, right? Mm-hmm. It say lending for Black-owned business down by 35%. More than 41% of Black-owned business closed since February 2020, right? Mm-hmm. And they saying that if this pandemic doesn't let up, that 41% is about to turn into 50%. So that's half of Black-owned businesses is going to be closed, right? And now they saying also that only 8.8% of Black-owned business made more revenue than the year before. So we are in a time where we have to level up and own our own business. And even if you don't own your own business and you work a traditional 9 to 5, you better have a side hustle because things are getting serious out here.
Mandatory.
It's mandatory. You know, instead of, you know, and I know people that work 2 and 3 jobs. You need to be smarter than that. You need to work 1 job and your second job is your business. So that way, when your business scales itself and you know that you're making more money in your business than you are in your traditional job, then you can leave that one.
Options. Yep.
And then what are you able to do is you're able to hire your family. You're able to hire your friends, you know, and you can help them get businesses. Because I just read you the statistics. Lending is down.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of legacy, most people, when they get into entrepreneurship and you ask them, why do you want to own your own business? They always say, I want to leave a legacy.
That's real.
But you know what I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
I want to establish a dynasty.
Ooh,
and
pressure.
I'm going to leave y'all with a quote.
Pressure.
And this quote is from Les Brown. He said, legacy is how you want to be remembered, but dynasty is why you will never be forgotten.
Man, that's cool.
So we got to start building dynasties.
That's cool.
Because when you look at the DuPonts, you look at the Rockefellers, you look at the Carnegies, and you look at all of these families,
Mm-hmm.
they have established institutions that are living hundreds of years beyond their demise.
Mm.
So their name and their tradition lives on, and we have to do that as well. So in closing, Andre, where can they go and find the what's the website for the mobile notary?
Mobile notary, they're going to use the links below to save the money. That's important.
Okay.
You're going to use the links in those codes. If you want to follow me on Instagram, Andre C. Hatchett on Instagram. My website, Andre C. Hatchett. And the Hatchet Way Podcast on YouTube and Apple Podcast. Happy to be here. Happy to serve. And thanks for having me, King. I appreciate it, man.
Oh,
This is
absolutely,
dope.
absolutely.
This is dope.
I want you to tell me about the Hatchet Way Podcast. Who are some of the guests? Now, you had one lady on there that I watched, and last year, I think it was, she grossed $10 million.
Terry.
$10 million, family.
Terry.
And she has a course as well. Like I was tapped into that.
You watched that? I
was
appreciate
tapped
you
into
watching that
I'm
one.
like,
Yeah.
how did she do that?
That's Terry EGO. Shout out to Terry. She should be a great guest for you.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll have one here.
That'd be dope.
And who are some of the other people?
Man, we had my man Charles Oglesby out of California. He did $3 million in course sales over the past couple of years. Xavier Miller, top 50 podcast, Millionaire Mindset podcast.
He's a millionaire as well.
If not, he's damn near close to it. He's only 28. He just turned 28.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's big into cryptocurrency as well.
Oh, yeah, he'd be a millionaire in no time.
Yeah, man. So those are some of the dynamic people we had on there. Hope to get you on there soon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Do I have to get $1 million before I get on there?
Man, you're worth $20 million to the community, man. So you all good.
There we go.
$20 million plus. That's an understatement.
But you know what? Truth be told, I'm on my way to that millionaire status.
Yeah, I believe it.
And when I say that, I'm not saying that lightly.
Mm-hmm.
I am, and the reason why I say that is because I'm a part of a circle of friends, right? Very close-knit friends,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's 5 of us. And 3 out of the 5 are millionaires. And the pressure's on me
proximity.
now, right? So they like, Raheem, what are you waiting for? And I'm like, what do you mean what I'm waiting for? You act like I could just...
That's great pressure, though. That is great pressure.
And they laughed, like the last time we was all on the phone together, they was, joking like, yo, Raheem, you need to become a millionaire because I want to see how you handle these millionaire migraines.
Damn.
They call it millionaire migraines.
That's deep.
They be like, everything
that.
you complaining about, that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
Wait till you get these millionaire migraines.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want all those migraines. I want all that smoke. So we supposed to get together, man, and we definitely, the main thing about it is a network. You know what I mean?
I would do it.
We at a position where if I have an idea and it's going to generate a significant amount of money, and they already know and trust me, you know what I mean? They're going to put it behind me.
There we go.
You know what I mean? So I got some things in the works, so
Look forward to hearing about them.
I'm about to be a millionaire, y'all.
Turn up. Let's go.
So, yo, Andre, man, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad you came through, man.
Thank you, God.
I've been knowing Andre for some time.
Years.
It's the first time, and I've been doing this podcast for 3 years. I should have been had you on here.
I'm here now.
This is the first time, but this ain't going to be the last time, man. I want y'all to tune in, man. Support this brother. And even if you don't take the course, man, make sure you tap in to the Hatchet Way Podcast and stay on the radar of what this brother is doing. My name is Raheem Shabazz. I'm going to say peace and Black Power, family. We out of here.